You're mad at feminism. You don't want to be a feminist anymore. You want to just be a traditional wife. You want to be at home. You want to cook for your kids. You want to bake for your husband. You want to live in your cottagecore dream. You want to have your own beautiful cottage in the woods and dress with flowy dresses and just be traditional. Just follow the tradition and just be one with nature. Step into your feminine energy, your soft feminine aesthetic, because it's all so beautiful. Everything seems like a fairy tale. Well, I'm here to tell you that life is not a fairy tale. We have never lived in such remote thing. In fact, if you think you're living in a fairy tale, you definitely are not. You have never been so disconnected from reality than you have been right now. So let's get into it. Hello, my name is Beatriz, and today we are here to talk about feminism and the tradwife aesthetic. Many women have started to turn against feminism. Many of them say they just want to stay home, and then there's the other side that says, no, I will not be a feminist. I will abide by the system and work like a man. You might have seen a lot of times on TikTok or Instagram Reels or on Twitter or anywhere else, you see women saying, screw feminism, I don't want to be a feminist anymore, this is embarrassing. You just think feminism is not a fight worth fighting. You think feminism is hating men. You think feminism is about doing everything by yourself, providing for yourself, having a job, working, hustling. You think being a feminist is starting to act like a man, and you're tired of it. You're tired of it, and you don't want that anymore for yourself. You want to just be free and just cook for your husband and just stay home. And you just want to be feminine again. You have many goals and you want to do many stuff, and you want to care for your children and you want to cook for them, you want to bake, you want to have a cute little house, you dream of the cottagecore aesthetic, and you want all of that. But there's no time, there's no money, you have to work, you have to grind first, and you just want to skip that. And I get it. You want to step away from that life and just be your own person from now on, completely free. But are you really free? Are you really free when that happens? Will you be free when you're at home with your kids, cooking for your husband, cleaning for your husband, and all of that? Are you really free? Liberal feminism says there's a choice for you and you can either choose to stay at home or grind and be part of the hustle culture and all of that. Well, I'm here to tell you don't have to do any of those things. First, I want to say that liberal feminism is not feminism, in my opinion. Liberal feminism does not exist because liberalism supports capitalism, and capitalism is by itself a patriarchal system. So women can never be equal to men in a liberal setting. Hello. Hi. There was a pigeon and I got distracted. Anyways, why you're not mad at feminism, you're actually mad at capitalism. Well, first, I've seen many women, and I bet you have too, on Reels, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere, people saying, I am done with the feminist movement. I want to just homestead. I want to be like influencers like Nara Smith or other tradwife aesthetic influencers and all of that, and I just want to make things from scratch, make my own bread, make everything, and I just want to be at home and let my husband provide for me and my kids. Well, what's the problem with that? There are many problems associated with that, beginning with everything we have fought for. Women have fought for years and years to be independent, and now you say you want to be independent again? What's really going on? What are you longing for actually? Like, what's making you want to go back decades? What's making you want to go back to 2 centuries ago? So first, you crave security. You crave peace. You want to be resting. You want to be chill for the rest of your life. You don't want to have many cares in the world. You're tired of looking at the news, seeing all of that. You're tired of having to go to work. You're tired of having to Do everything by yourself. I'm here to tell you that that's not a problem with feminism. Feminism is not telling you to be alone. Feminism is not telling you to do everything by yourself, and feminism is definitely not telling you to just hustle, grind, do everything. Feminism is about having a chance and having possibility to be a normal person in the world. So what you're longing for is an escape, not being trapped in the capitalist mindset. You're tired of the system, you're tired of politics, you're tired of just seeing the world going to shit. You want to just not be part of that anymore. You want peace. That's what you want. You're not mad at feminism. You're mad at the system that you're put in. You're mad at having to be so individual. You want a community, and then you find that community in your family, in the family that you built, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. But that is not you being mad at feminism, that's you being mad at capitalism. When you change that perspective in your head, when you change that, that's when we can actually make steps forward and we can actually try to make something good for ourselves. Because if you just keep saying, oh, I'm not a feminist, I can actually cook. I think you know that girl that goes on TikTok and goes like, I'm not a feminist, I can actually cook. And then it's like, just pasta with sauce or some girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm a feminist and I can cook too. I just did pasta with sauce yesterday. Like, please let's wake up and let's stop being stupid and let's use our brain for once. What I usually ask people that tell me that they are not a feminist, I ask, what is feminism to you? And they usually say, well, it's about women being superior to men. Wrong. That one is already wrong. Women do not want to be superior to men. First, it's about being equal. Then another thing I get is, well, women want to have more privileges. Well, kind of correct, but it is not just about having privilege, because if we just gain rights, and everything stays the same, we are still in a patriarchal society and in a patriarchal system. Feminism is really about dissolving all of that. Feminism is about destroying the patriarchy. We want a system where we are truly equals, and not just equals, but the man is still seen as a provider, the man is still seen as the strong one and all of that. No, we want to abolish all stereotypes. And by abolishing stereotypes about men, we also want to abolish stereotypes about women. So when you're saying like, I want to step into my feminine energy, what is that? What is that? What kind of stereotypes do you have ingrained in your head? What kind of stereotypes do you have? The man is a provider. Who told you that? Who told you that the man is a provider? You're not longing for submission. You are longing for rest. You don't want a husband. You're longing for security. And it's not about feminism. It's about capitalism and individualism. And I feel this too. I feel this all the time. I have a boyfriend, and I myself think that sometimes I just want to rest. I just want to move in with him and cook for us, and I want to just have a peaceful life. And if he provides for me, oh, that's amazing, I don't have to get a job. But that's not how it is. That is not how it is. We have to wake up from a fairy tale. Okay? If your man can provide for you and you're fine with that, I'm not going to knock on your door and say, well, you can't do that, miss, get out. You can't do that. I'm not going to do that. But I'm telling you what comes with it. Well, first, before you submit to a man, I dare you to open your computer or your phone and you search divorce rates. You know what happens when you divorce a man that it's completely providing for your entire lifestyle? You are not making any money of your own. And when that man leaves, and you have children, which probably will be stuck with you, you're gonna be alone with no money and actually no experience. You have no curriculum, you have no CV, you have no experience. How are you gonna get a job? Because this is all tied also to anti-intellectualism. Women don't need to study. We can just say, this is crazy to say, but Oh, women don't need to study, we can just go and provide for a man. I've heard many women saying this. Like, I've gotten comments here or in other platforms saying, well, I've heard differently. I have never heard this. Well, I have. And I'm here to talk about it. If you haven't, now you're hearing it from me. I've seen articles also about this. Just go on Google, search this topic, and you will see a bunch of articles written by men and women. I've read them, and I'm just like, how can you go back like that? How can you go so backwards? You think all that women have fought for, and you're here telling that it's not worth it at all. I have seen women saying, well, I don't want to go vote. I don't care about voting. I don't care about politics. You should, because politics care about you. Not in a good way though. They will make laws about your body. They will make laws about your reproductive rights. They will make laws about what you can or you cannot do. Some years ago, you couldn't have your own bank account. You couldn't own your credit card. You couldn't own your own stuff. It had to be by your husband. In some countries, you couldn't legally leave your country without your husband. You still can do it in some places. And that's the whole point. In a lot of places, we haven't even gotten this. We don't even have this right yet. This is a very selfish way of thinking. If you go like, well, I can just submit to a man and stay home and nothing will happen to me, that is such a privileged take. Because if you stop fighting, you're also stopping the fight for women who are in countries where there's current wars against them. There's femicides where women get killed every day. Children get killed every day. There's no rights for women. Women can't show their faces in some countries. Women can't talk in public spaces. And you just think, well, it's not my fight. I'm going to stay home. No. No. When you realize that you're not meant at feminism and it's capitalism and it's this system of oppression that keeps oppressing us for centuries and has always oppressed us, when you wake up to that and you actually start speaking about it and you fight for it, it's when things actually change. Because by escaping this, you're not making any progress. By escaping it, things will stay the same or worse. Because if you keep ignoring it, then people who want to implement things that are not good for women will do it because no one is fighting for it. No one cares about it. I just don't understand how someone can go and be like, I don't care about my own rights. You can do whatever you want with me. Huh? Like, what? What are you saying? I wish I could understand you, and maybe someday I will. I just don't right now. And I have gotten through that whole loophole in my head thinking, oh, nothing actually changes. Well, I could have this easy way out. But the easy way out will only make things worse. The easy way out will only make things worse. So either you choose to overachieve it and become this like hyper capitalist boss, or you opt the way out and you go into the tradwife aesthetic and you become this conservative traditional wife. You're still doing the same thing. Those two types of people are the same. They're trying to survive a system that was not built for them. And when you realize this, the fight becomes smaller. Think about it. If you keep going against it, won't that make you even more frustrated about it? The more you try to escape it, because it's like any other problem in your life. You can't just ignore things until it explodes. You can't do that. I have talked in other videos. You have to face your emotions as well as you have to face your fights. This is your fight. It's women's rights. For your body, for your voice, the way you dress, what you can believe in, everything. Think of every aspect of your life and that will be there. And I get it. I have said this before. I get it that you are frustrated with this. I am too. And you're not crazy for wanting a slower and softer life. But we need to dream a little bit bigger than being a tradwife or being a hyper girl boss. We need to be more proactive and step out of these delusions. Because the more you ignore it, the more people can work against you. And you can't let people work against you, because you will wake up one day and you will be stuffed to up here. You will be completely stepped over, and we can't let our entire gender be stepped over. We need to keep fighting. And if you wake up one day and you think, well, in my country I have a lot of rights, I feel pretty comfortable, the fight is still not over. I'm here to tell you that the fight is still not over, because you look at Afghanistan, you look at the entirety of Africa, you look at Muslim countries. Women are oppressed every day, everywhere. If there are no abortion rights, there is no freedom of your reproductive system. Without abortion rights, you're not controlling your own body. Your body is owned by the government. And I don't think that's okay. And then we have to look this from a more how will TikTok say this? A more male gaze perspective, you know? How does a man feel about the tradwife aesthetic? Well, first we need to think about what kind of fetish is this. I've seen so many videos and it's disgusting. It's disgusting of women getting dressed in those dainty dresses, which I actually think they're cute. But when I see a woman putting it on and the caption is getting ready to cook for my husband, and then she's putting on the dress and then the husband comes and ties balls in it, and I'm like, whoa, what kind of fetish is this? What kind of sexualization is this? Because women are constantly sexualized, and it's not because you're traditional or conservative that you're less sexualized, because that's actually the opposite, because conservative men will like that too. You're being sexualized for being a tradwife, and this is a whole fetish for them. Okay, it's not like you're escaping that. You think you're escaping it because you are actively trying to escape it. You're not actually, because a lot of men are looking at those videos. They're looking at your videos putting on those dresses and your men coming to tie it up, and they're thinking, oh yeah, that's well, I think that's disgusting. You think you're not being sexualized by being conservative because people get sexualized for being bops. No, both of you are being just as sexualized. Both of you are being seen the same way, because women will never escape that sexualization while we are under this system. I hope I'm making any sense. So if you're actually mad at feminism, you're not mad at feminism, you're mad at liberal feminism. Because liberal feminism, let me tell you, you don't have a choice. It's not, oh, you can have all this or all of that. You can be a girl boss or you can stay at home. I have gotten into the liberal feminism rabbit hole. I saw recently these protests where they're naked, and the protest is organized by men. So women naked on the streets, and it's organized by men. Liberal feminism. That sounds so liberating. Actually, you know, when men put you naked on the street, when you go naked to the street because a man had the idea to put you naked on the street, and you're there screaming for whatever rights you just remember that you need. And that sounds very liberating. Yes, you're definitely not being sexualized. You're totally safe. I'm mad at that type of feminism too. You're not the only one. I'm just saying that the solution is not escaping from it and ignoring it. The solution is actually getting even more mad. So mad that you just say all of that. That's crazy. It is not about choice, because you can't actually have choice. There's no choice for you. Feminism is not about choice. It's about having independence and freedom and finally being seen as just a human. By being a tradwife, you're imprisoning yourself. So why would you imprison yourself? Being a tradwife should not be a choice. You shouldn't even be able to come up with that decision, because in which world is a feminist choice submitting to men? You're submitting to a man. You're saying he's the leader of the house, he's the provider, and I'm gonna do all of this unpaid work. I'm gonna do all of this domestic unpaid work for him while he makes the money, and he can leave me at any time and I will not have a single penny. Now you have to realize what you see on social media about tradwives. They're usually already rich. They're usually already higher class people. They come from wealthy families, and you're seeing them doing this because they can afford it. If their husband leaves them, they still have money. Okay, Nara Smith, she's not letting her husband provide for her. She's literally a model. You're not gonna have the same type of life if you do that, because you can't afford that. You can't afford that. You are lower middle class. You cannot afford to just not work, because that's not the system we are in. The answer to that is not getting out of the system. You can only abide for the system or fight for it. You cannot escape it, because there's no escaping of the literal place you're living in unless you get out of this planet. There is no way out. So being a traditional wife should not be a choice, because you're spitting on the faces of all the women that have fought for you. You're spitting on all the faces of the women who don't have the rights to be a traditional wife. They don't have the choice to be a traditional wife, because their own country, their own government tells them that they must be a traditional wife, because you are choosing to do that, while a lot of women don't have that choice. And you're not thinking about that. You're just thinking it's very inoffensive. It's very, I'm just tapping into my feminine energy. Well, you have the choice to do that. A lot of women don't. I think you can think a little bit about that if you're considering submitting to a man, because that's crazy. That's actually insane. In this economy, crazy. Anyways, look, I understand that you are mad at having to portray to be strong all the time, and that the system can take you down, but it's okay. It's okay to actually be vulnerable and say that, well, I don't like the system, and you're fighting for it. That's more powerful than pretending to hustle and to grind in this culture and that you are amazing. But you have to realize that both those responses are shaped by capitalism. They are both coming from the same place, just marketed differently. You are either providing for a man who's providing for the system, or you're either doing it by yourself, and both of them are exhausting and against your own nature. Please don't step out of education to provide for a man or to start a family. Please focus on your education. Please don't be stupid. Don't ever put a man's needs over yours, and just don't fall into the trap of hating feminism, because you're actually mad at the system we have, not feminism. And I am mad at the liberal feminists and all the feminists who pretend that we are already so advanced and that we can have the choice to do whatever we want. We have the choice to be conservative and we have the choice to have all of that. It's already ironic if you're being a feminist and conservative and you think women can be emancipated in a right-wing setting. We cannot. We will never be. Don't be selfish. Think about what's happening in other countries. Think about what's happening outside of your own bubble. If you really want to cook, but don't just let a man pay for your entire expenses. Please make some money of your own. You are independent for a reason. It's because you need it. Don't spit on the faces of the people who have fought for you for decades. Go vote. Be active in your society. Don't isolate yourself. Be in community. That will be much more fulfilling than just providing for a man. Don't be hyper individualistic. That's what's against your own nature. Stepping into your feminine energy should be about community, should be about fighting for your rights, not going against it. That's my opinion, and that's all I wanted to say. And I'm sorry if this video was all over. It's just that some things are hard for me to talk about if they are so obvious to me. You're putting yourself in jeopardy if you're letting a man doing all the work for you. Don't fall into the propaganda that you see, because this is all built by a lot of propaganda. Please don't fall into that. Please think critically. Feminism is what's gonna save you from your problems, and the system that makes you hate feminism is the problem. You just have to speak out, let out what you're feeling, and that anger is what's gonna make things move forward, not escaping. That's all I wanted to say. If you have felt this way too, please let me know in the comments. Share your own experiences. If you have fell into this trap and now you're realizing there's always a way out, it is not too late. You can turn your life around. I hope you took something from this, and I'll see you next time. Bye!